Because the answer is almost none. Almost none. So, we're back to the question of, who are you making rich? If it's these people, you need to start thinking. Because this is the person that needs to succeed going forward. And you can't continue to shove off all your medical care to medicine and succeed going forward. So here it is. Why is this so? Is it really that hard of a question? That's like the ultimate hard question, right? You can't get the right answer to that one, can you? All right, so how do I build a medical practice? We've got to look like a duck. So what does your office look like? What does your office say to your patients? Now, we're going to talk about the mix of optical and medical. And guys, it's a hard mix. I'm going to be real honest with you. But we need to start thinking about what does our patients see when they come into our office. Because when I see doctors, they go, I really want to do more medical. I really want my patients to come to me for their medical. And I'm like, what does your business card say? Because if it says eye exams and glasses, I'm not coming to you for my glaucoma. If it says treatment and management of eye disease, I sure as heck might. So let's look at that. What does your staff look like? What kind of technology do you have in your office? You can't be medical. You can't go medical unless you look medical, right? Well, I snapped this little picture. Right after I snapped it and realized what it said, I threw up. It's like the ultimate example of optometric lunacy. Who's the specialist in primary eye care? This should be like Rampaka's telling everybody, you must say, it's not my fault. It's like, who is the specialist in primary eye care? The optometrist, okay? You got to start believing that, guys. You've got to start believing that. Is Chris here? Now, look, not all of you have the right in your state to say that, but if you do and you're not saying it, because I showed Chris's card to 5 of my friends and I say, tell me the first thing you noticed about Chris's business card. 4 out of 5 said physician. 4 out of 5. They didn't even see Pearl Vision and the fancy logo. They saw the word physician. You've got to tell your patients what you do. What's on your door? This is one of my best friend's office right here. What does he do? Anybody have any question about what this doctor does? Treatment of eye disease and vision. This is the storefront to a guy named Kim Castleberry, who maybe you've heard that name before. He does about $4 million out of this office, and 30% of it's optical. He tells his patients what he does. Now, he also does glasses. He does them in an hour. But that first line is where they read. You got to tell your patients what you do. You got to quack like a duck, okay? You got to start taking care of all your patients all the time. You got to tell them what you do. You got to tell your medical colleagues what you do. I know you've probably had lectures about send letters to the PCPs, coordinate with the PCPs. Make sure what those things say when you send them. If you send a letter over there and it's got their Ks and their auto-refraction and their manifest and their cyclo and their final and their alternate prescription, I just threw it in the trash. Because that stuff doesn't mean nothing to an endocrinologist. What does he want to know? The retina's good. Retina's good. Okay? So watch what those things say. Even if it formulates it for you, which most of the EHR say, just go in there and customize it so it looks like a medical correspondence. All right. Tell your patient what you do. Get your medical cards. Okay? This is just a really nice thing. Even if you're not on their plan, if nothing else, if you start getting copies of everyone's medical card and you're going, shoot, everybody in town is on this insurance and I'm not. You probably want to get on that insurance, right? So start getting their medical cards, in addition to their vision cards, okay? Then you grow like a duck. You've got to invest in technology. Now I'm going to give you a different twist. When Lisa came to me and said, I want a Go Medical that's different, because, and everyone knows, Craig Thomas is one of my closest friends, but I'm going to give you a different twist on going medical than tomorrow you have to go out and spend $150,000. Because I'm going to tell you, tomorrow you almost have to go out and spend nothing. And I'll show you how in a minute. You got to learn by doing. You can't be afraid to fail. You have to learn by doing. I learned most everything I do in medical by screwing it up at least once. Okay? Talk to your friends. Don't call your retina guy. Call some optometric guy that's really good with retina and consult with them. Consult with each other. Optometrists are friends. We should be friendly with each other. We have brains in optometry on ocular disease that run circle around the best ophthalmologists in the country. They'll love to talk to you. Love to talk to you. Training is everything. Then you are a duck. The first thing you have to do to be medical in your practice does not cost you one dime. It's you have to think you are. You have to understand that I can do this stuff. I'm good at it. I'm actually better than they are. And once you accept that, you're 90% there. I don't care what instruments you have in your office. But you have to believe you are the medical provider of eye care. And if you don't believe that, that's step one. You can't go any further. You got to believe that. Okay? Patients refer like patients. People tell me all the time, how do I grow a medical practice? Do medical. How did you grow a contact lens practice? You fit a bunch of contacts and people said, hey, you know, Dr. Smith fit me in contacts. She's really good. I think I'll go there. Who took care of your glaucoma? Dr. Smith. She's good. I think I'll go there. It works exactly the same. Works exactly the same. All right, here's my practice. Everyone wants to know what I do for a living. It's not this. And it's not run Practice Compliance Solutions. I run 2 inner city clinics, and there's my practice right there. And I don't do this to brag about it. I just want you to know that when it comes to medical, I kind of know what I'm talking about. So there's my offices right there, okay? 36 years in practice, 2 offices. There's my docs. They're both inner city. I don't sell glasses. I don't sell contacts, and I'm not a subscriber to one vision plan. And our revenue is $4.77 million. And I've never sold a pair of glasses out there. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you can do it without it. So that's my practice. So, whoop-de-doo, right? Everybody want to do that tomorrow? Well, you're stupid if you do. Because it's a very unique situation. We need to talk about balance. We're going to talk about a concept of you got to learn to walk before you run. So we're going to talk about walking a little bit, okay? So, Craig says you got to be a modern eye doctor. Correct. You got to treat most of the things that come into your office most of the time. And that doesn't just mean dry eyes and allergies. I am so sick of dry eyes and allergies, I could spit nails. As a matter of fact, every magazine I get that the cover says, new development dry, I just spin it. Because I've had it with dry eyes and allergies. It's like, how many different ways can we assault these patients? All right. Stop giving away your expertise and charge. Okay, look, disclaimer. I'm never going to tell anybody in this room what to charge for your services. I am going to tell you that every single person in this room doesn't charge enough. That's not setting fees. I'm just telling you, undervalue your services. And I would say there's not a person in this room that can tell me different. You may think you do, but you don't. A couple of key concepts. We got to drive these out of the optometric brain. Number one, insurance and what I do are not the same thing. Medically necessary care is what I do, and somebody's got to pay for it. Now, I literally have students come to me, and when I tell you, we all learn this in optometry school, they come to me and go, my attending told me if the patient doesn't have insurance, don't run the test. And I'm like, but I'm telling you that there are people in this room that feel exactly the same way. I won't make you raise your hand. but I can promise you they're here. I can promise you they're here. You determine what care is needed, someone pays. And the patient's the last one after everything else is exhausted. Optometry has trouble getting people to pay for things. Now, I can be really tacky. I don't even think I put this slide in there, but I'll just say it. I got a slide that's really tacky that says, you surely don't have any trouble milking them for a $600 frame and $400 of upgrades on their lenses, but you sure have a problem charging them for their visual field that the medical insurance won't cover. Ooh, that was tacky, wasn't it? That's the truth. That's mirror reflection time. Here was my last visit to the dermatologist. $195 office visit, remove a skin tag, $200, $4 and $5. Less than 5 minutes in the room, $133.62 covered by insurance. That was not medically necessary, but it was ugly. So I wanted it off. My out-of-pocket, $236.67, cash or credit card. Dr. Kwan has no trouble with this. So why do we? This is the way healthcare works. And I already told you in the beginning that it's going to move more this direction. Patients are going to pay for more of their care. We have to learn cash, check, or credit card at checkout with no reservation and no remorse. All right, how much is your exam worth? I just thought I'd throw this in for fun. Well, in Dallas, you don't pay anything at that place. Walmart 49, BSP, Plano Eye Associates is Kim Castleberry's office. That's not very good. That's Blue Cross. So this is one of my friends. He's in center part of Dallas. He charges $109. Kim charges $189. The one I told you about earlier, $239. But here's the one that bothers me. The local ophthalmologist charges $289. How long do you think that exam lasts? How much time do you think he spent in the room? Compare that to what you're doing for your patients. How much does he know about primary health care of the eye compared to you? So why aren't we charging that? Because the only answer you can give me is, I'm not that good. You can tell me all you want to about, oh, competition and blah. He don't care about competition. The problem's with us, not with the public, guys. All right. Vice Chair of the Advisory Committee, CMS, Texas Medical Association, says most average physicians are charging or have a discount of 41% from their usual care customary charge compared to Medicare. And there's very few optometrists in this room that will charge Medicare allowable. It's like, what is wrong with us? It's those 2 injections I told you about. Got to get over it. All right. You're not a second class. This is like, anybody ever worked at Walmart? Probably not. Not as a doctor. As like a checkout or a stocker. Anybody? Yeah, okay. You're the Walmart chant? Okay. When they change shifts, they get everybody in a circle and they have this Walmart chant and it's like, rah, rah, Walmart, blah, 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 whoopee, and everybody goes to work. It's like they are involved with this. They believe in it. We better start believing in it. And I've said that a million times. Okay. Unnecessary referrals, that's what we figured out. One unnecessary referral, $17,500 over 5 years. How many referrals are you sending out every week? Just start multiplying that number. I mean, you worried about optical sales? This dwarfs losing optical sales. Where are the sick eyes? Well, everybody thinks they're in old people. I already said that, right? But nah, don't get fooled. Here's the sick eyes in the future. You better become a diabetic expert, because that's the disease of the future. Okay, so I told you, now I'm going to tell you about what do I need to change in my office from a care delivery standpoint tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Monday. They go home Monday? Everybody go home Monday, Lisa? You over this weekend? Okay, everybody open on Monday. Monday. Bunch of this you can implement Monday. Okay? So a little different than you need to go buy a $100,000 piece of instrument. Let's look at them. Here's my toy box. Whoopie-doo. I got everything, guys. I got every single thing known. I got more stuff than Craig's got. Big deal. I'm a teaching institution. That's why I got all that stuff. I don't need it to take care of people. I need it to train students. Okay? I got that. Got all that stuff. There's my numbers. 12,311 patient encounters, and I referred 102 people. That's not very many. Because I will not. Unless they need to be cut on or shot a laser at, they are not leaving my office. You can call it ego, you can call it whatever you want to, but remember my numbers? All right. So do I need to be there again? No, no. It's what I've been telling you. Do not think you need to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Let's show you what you can be doing tomorrow. Before we do that, I told you about this. Optical, medical. It's a mix, and it's a hard mix. I can tell you. Ophthalmology knew this decades ago. How many times have you walked into an ophthalmologist's office and there was an optical inside his office? Where was the optical? Down the hall. That they supposedly didn't own, right? Yeah. They knew a long time ago that this is a hard mix because of public perception. Now, that's diminished somewhat over time, but it's still going to be a matter of, I got to look at my office and see where's the mix, because you're all going to shy one direction or the other over time. Everyone's got to move more medical, but some of you will move more medical than others will. That's fine. Okay? But it's hard to mix these two. Okay? So walk before you run. One will strongly dominate. You get to decide what that is over time. And it's not going to be next week, but over time you get to see where's my practice going. Okay? It's all about accepting change and finding solutions. Like, he found a solution. Okay? Why do you have to lead me up? I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to refill the bowl. I got this figured out. Sometimes those answers are real simple. And a lot of what I'm going to tell you about is real simple. Okay? So, here it is. See those 5 diseases? You have to master them. You don't need tons of technology to master those diseases. When I mean master, you got to manage them. And when I say manage, that doesn't mean referring them. Until they need cut on or lasered on. And if you're in a state that allows you to use lasers, I wouldn't send them out for that either. Okay? Did you say walk? All right. So I've taken all the technology in eye care and I've divided it into 4 sections. We'll call it low-hanging fruit, middle branch, top of the trees, and exotic. You're going to see some of them have a star. I think everybody in this room needs everything that has a star. That's going to be my opinion, but that's why I'm standing up here. All right. You have a handout, right? Think I have a handout? Or they could have downloaded.
The flash drive. So everyone is taking, I'm seeing people taking photographs of Dr. DeLoach's slides.
Yeah.
The flash drives that everyone has, both of it, you get a handout on there, and also all of the slides are on there.
Yeah, this lecture's on there. But more importantly, there's a handout, and it says Technology Primer. And it's going to take every one of these concepts and blow them up. Because to do what we would like to do with this would have taken 5 hours. So you're going to have to go do some homework on your own. But I've sent you the homework home. Okay? So go read the primer. So here it is. Here's your first. Sensoromotor evaluation, a word that most optometrists don't have a clue what it even means. And I don't blame you. We were brought up to say this is a binocular assessment, okay, but the rest of the medical world calls it a sensoromotor evaluation. So when do I use this? Everything we're going to talk about is a separate billable procedure. Separate billable procedure. This is not part of an eye exam. This is the patient that comes in and says, you know, when I'm reading for a little bit of time, the words start splitting apart and I'm seeing 2 and I have to put it down for a while, and we go, oh, that's an eye exam, right? I just measure their foria and they need 2 base up in one eye and 2 base down in the other, and that's what optometrists do. No, it didn't. That's a separate billable service. A routine eye exam is nothing more than routine stuff. If you have to go beyond what you do for a normal patient encounter, it is not routine eye care anymore. This is a separate billable procedure. Okay? Tell you all about it in the handout. Cost, $0. You're already doing it. You have everything you need to do this tomorrow. Reimburse is $60. So there you go. How many of those patients do you see a week? And give away a sense of, when I showed it to Lisa, Lisa's like writing notes going, Monday, Monday. I see 3 of these a day. It's about right. It's about right. Okay? Gonioscopy. Oh, look, you're not going to like this slide, are you? No one wants to get a gonio lens out and stick that gooey thing on an eye. Okay, look, here's the deal. Standard of care. Standard of care. Sorry. It's not that hard. We got a wet lab on it tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? Not that hard. You all did it at one point in time. It's just practice. It ain't that hard. Okay? $350 if you don't have one. You probably already have one. $35. You're going to do that several times a week. So very little capital outlay. Probably giving that one away. Extended ophthalmoscopy. Now this one is a two-edged sword. Capital outlay again, $0. Most of us think if we see a patient and they come in and they say, I got this flash going on out here, and you start looking around and they have a little percolated tear, which unfortunately most of you are going to send to a retina doctor unnecessarily. But they got a little tear out there and you really want to document that thing. Look, that is not routine ophthalmoscopy. That is beyond what we normally do. That's called extended ophthalmoscopy. If we have to take extra time to look at it, extra time to document it, we get paid more. $0 capital outlay. Doesn't cost you a dime to do this. Just have to do it. Now, got to watch it because this is for serious conditions. And the bottom line is a lot of times we can photo it better than we can describe it. And photos pay more, so if we're just going to talk about money, why would you do extended ophthalmoscopy? You can take a picture. But nonetheless, sometimes you can't take a picture way out there. That's where extended ophthalmoscopy comes in. $30 per eye.
You can't do both.
Per eye, huh?
You can't do both again.
Actually, you can. In most, I said that at a lecture once, and John Rampakis about took my throat out. He goes, "You're wrong," and I'm like, okay. So in most payers, there is no edit between those two procedures. It makes no sense to me. It seems to me like the ultimate edit, but there you go. Treatment with contact lenses, hopefully everyone's doing this. $0 outlay of costs, okay? The ultimate pain relief. How many people have had a corneal abrasion? What did it feel like? Yeah. There's like childbirth and then corneal abrasion, okay? Just this side of it, okay? Bandage lenses are a miracle, okay? Do not let your patients be in pain. $39. No costs. Extended color vision. I'm pretty sure Craig's talked about this, hadn't he? We're going to talk about it just a slight bit different. $58, costs about $1,200. That's not much, guys. You're spending that on nothing. $1,200, okay? Conan system. Conan's the only one that has one, I think. Easiest thing in the world, you just hand it to the patient, they walk through it on a tablet, and it sits there and tells you everything in the findings, tells you the diagnosis, tells you everything. Easy? Holy cow, yes. Application? Oh, I've heard people go, this is stupid. Why would you ever test someone's color vision? Oh, let's look at it. There's two kinds of color vision defects, congenital and acquired. I'm not sure there's a lot of application for congenital. I mean, if some guy comes in and says, I'm colorblind, I'm like, I'm going to run a test on you to show you what you already knew. But how many people have ever asked by an occupation or a health evaluation from a truck driver or whatever, that they want documentation of their color vision? Now it becomes an application for even those folks. But here's your application. Acquired defects. That's all documented literature stuff. And look at the medication side effect list. You know, I get so sick of lectures on Plaquenil I could spit. You would think that is the only drug known to eye doctors that has side effects. The list is massive. Massive. It's way bigger than that. Those are just the ones that cause color vision defects. And you're like, well, I don't know. Oh, well, look at this. The National Institute of Health says eye doctors should be conducting color vision evaluation of those patients. The National Institute of Health. So I contend the people that tell you that color vision testing is a stretch are just flat wrong. So there's an easy, good application piece of technology that doesn't cost a lot. Yes, ma'am?
So how do you talk to your ED patient who's taking his medication that he needs a color test?
Ms. Jones, the digoxin you're taking can cause problems with your color vision perception. It's reversible, and you can be on a different medication that doesn't have that side effect. We can test for that, and if it's positive, we can talk to your doctor about maybe changing that medication.
Is that ED drug?
I'm sorry?
The fourth one from the last, is that ED?
Oh, oxymetrazone? It's an...
One before it.
Oh. Well, okay, my answer to that is, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to be a doctor. It's time to talk to people. It's like chlamydia. Ms. Jones, you have chlamydia. It is a sexually transmitted disease. Those words do not just fall off your tongue. But guys, that's what doctors do. We have to talk to our patients. We can't be shy. Can't cut. It's what doctors do. Everyone's got visual fields or should. God, if you don't, get one. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips about this. This is a high reimbursing procedure. Always has been, still is. It's a pain in the rear. And everyone's looked at them and gone, what in the heck do I make out of this? But we're talking standard of care issues again, and the applications are endless. So here's my recommendations if you don't have a visual field. They're not in order. As a matter of fact, everyone talks about Humphrey visual fields being the gold standard. Not anymore. I'm in the Optometric Glaucoma Society, and we talk about octopus, not Humphrey anymore. That's the new upcoming instrument for glaucoma. So Humphreys aren't bad, but they're way more expensive than everybody else. Way more. Okay? If you're looking for a good bread and butter, don't have a visual field instrument, look at that center field. Look, they all reimburse the same. But you're talking about the difference between a $15,000 instrument and a $50,000 instrument. And let's make it even easier. How many people have bought used equipment? A few, okay? We'll start. A lot of this equipment is great used. Now I've put up some sites up there. Two of them I have, actually I've bought from all four of them. But those first two I have very close knowledge of. They are very reputable people. And they can find just about anything you want. I would be leery about used technology as the technology gets more fancy. So I don't know if I'm going to go out and buy a scanning laser that's used. But I'm going to buy a visual field and a fundus photography instrument, stuff like that. Save a lot of money. A lot of money. And here we go, anterior segment photography. Capital outlay, $0 to $20,000. So, well, that's a big stretch, isn't it? What's zero? Okay, so everybody, I won't even ask how many people are on optometry blogs, but if you're on, get off of them. Good Lord, like the bane of our existence. The absolute best place in optometry to find bad information. So they had a big debate about it. You can't take a picture of a patient with a cell phone. That's not legal. Really? Wrong. Nothing in CPT says what instrument you have to use. It says you have to use a camera. Is there a camera in here? End of story. End of story. All right. Fundus photography. My first fundus camera I bought for $800. That was in 1981. I can buy that same fundus camera today for $1,000. Yeah, it takes slides. I don't know if I want to do that. But the point is there's very inexpensive used fundus cameras on the market. Man, I can just take pictures of stuff all day long. Okay, all day long. So, that one's pretty easy. I do want you to know that you do have to follow the rules with photography, and we talked about those before, and I'm sure Craig talked about them. All right, scanning lasers. It's got a star on it, doesn't it? Ouch. I told you you don't have to spend a lot of money. I lied. Here's one you got to spend some money. These are becoming pretty much a standard sight in eye care. If you are going to manage retinal disease, you have to have one, period. And we've already told you, you got to manage retinal disease. So that's why the star's up there. Now, capital outlay varies. So which one do I buy? All right. I said that I'm not going to mention companies that paid me anything, and I'm not. But I'm going to tell you there's a company out there that has a whole bunch of options for you that makes really, really good stuff, and they haven't paid me a dime to say it. As a matter of fact, I just now got one of their instruments. I've had their competitor for 10 years. So it's a really good company, and here it is. It's OptiView. They have 3 different instruments for you, and this is what's really cool about their product offering. They have starter all the way to advanced. You want starter? Get starter. That's a starter instrument right there. Okay? Now, I throw this up because you see that the cost is the same as that one. And this one does a whole lot more, so why would I buy that one? And the answer is because this is a screening device that's totally automated. The patient just sticks their head in there and it lines it up and goes boop and takes a picture and you're done. This you got to work at a little bit more. So that's the difference. But my opinion, I would really gravitate toward the iView because it just gives you so much more diagnostic information. If you don't have a fundus camera, they teamed them up, and that's called an eye fusion. For $55,000, you can get a great fundus camera and a dynamite scanning laser. That's not a ton of money for the reimbursement and for the peace of mind and the wisdom you're going to acquire managing retinal disease. Okay? Now, you want the big stuff? Fine. Spend $85,000, $89,000. Knock your lights out. Terrific piece of instrumentation. Is that where you need to go? If you want to go. But you have to make that decision, okay? That's what I've got. But where are you in the spectrum? You ready to walk or you ready to run? This is running and that's walking, okay? All right, corneal topography. You can get these used, look at the spread, 5 to 50, big spread, okay? Common payment policies, honestly, these are almost more of a contact lens device than anything. Almost more of a contact lens device than anything. So how many of y'all are in the realm of specialty contact lenses these days? Okay, well there's another niche you better grab onto because that is a really, really cool thing. You're going to need topography to go there. Anybody doing myopia control? One, okay? Didn't we just tell you myopia is going away? That's one of the ways it's going to go away, is optometrists are going to make it go away. That seems kind of counterproductive, doesn't it? Well, that's what the public's going to want us to do. So that's something you probably need to be looking into. When we talk about how do I compete against the changes that are coming, it's I replace what I'm losing with something else. Specialty contact lenses, myopia control, medical disease, et cetera, okay? So this doesn't reimburse a lot, but it's a really good, and a lot of times this is coupled with an autorefractor, so if your autorefractor ever goes down, just make sure you buy a new one where the two are together, and usually you don't spend much more money to get topography. I think Craig's going to do some plug training. Oh, I don't have a star up there. There's just not a whole lot of application for punctal plugs anymore. Just not a lot. There is some, but not a lot. We got so many other better ways to manage, dries and punctal plugs. But they still have an application. And the reimbursement's really, really good. And look, this is easy. How many people are doing punctal plugs? Okay? Oh, guys, come on. It's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake to do this. Nothing hard about this at all. Big reimbursement, and when it's needed, it's great therapy. Okay? Capital outlay, nothing. Because you're going to burn a plug, but you're getting reimbursed for that. So you don't have to go take out a lease or anything like that. Capital outlay essentially zero. So here's more things that we're doing to take better care of our patients, and we haven't spent a dime. Haven't spent a dime. Dark adaptation. Anybody know about this? This is a pretty cheap instrument, $35,000. Okay, look at the reimbursement. That's pretty good. Now, what does this thing test for? AMD. AMD. How many patients do you have that have AMD or are suspect or at risk for AMD? You know how many I have? Where do I practice? Inner city? Who lives in the inner city? African Americans and Hispanics. African Americans and Hispanics don't have AMD. I don't have one of these, but I think you should, because I don't think your patient population is like mine. AMD will be one of the biggest diseases in eye care going forward for two reasons. It's bad, and the public is very aware of it. You talk about care hacking, the public knows all about macular degeneration, and they're scared of it. This test predicts the onset of macular degeneration and the progression like crazy. And it's the old technology of dark adaptation. So it's a lot like VEPs. You know, VEPs were around forever. We just developed a clinically applicable instrument. Same thing with dark adaptation. This thing's about this big. It's no big deal. Run very easily, run by your technician. It's not invasive at all. And it's very valuable information. You can run it both as a screening or a diagnostic test. So how many people have Optos in their practice, okay? And you offer it as a screening fundus photo for your patients, probably, and as hopefully diagnostic billing for it as well. That's what people are doing with this. Screening option. Everyone over the age of 40, 50, pick your age, you know, pick your categories. You are in a category of patients who are at risk for this disease. Would you like to have a test that tells us your likelihood of developing the disease? So